it's hard every day. It gets harder because it used to be okay to get high and I'd be able to enjoy myself, but the older I get, at the back of my mind, I feel like every step that I take is just bringing me further and further and further away.
All right, we're here with Dylan. How you doing?
I can't call it.
Yeah. Dylan was born and raised here in Vegas. He's currently struggling with crystal meth and some black sometimes. He's 28 years old and recently got out of prison, and we want to hear his life story. All right, Dylan, what was life like here in Vegas growing up?
It was actually pretty good. I had a very good family system that I never wanted for anything. My mom was a single mom. I had stepdads and things like that. Not stepdads, but her boyfriends go in and out. Yeah. And my dad wasn't around. He took off when I was 2, ended up catching a really big case, and he was in prison until I was about 12 or 13. Yeah. And then a few years later, I got a call, and he had passed away. He had OD'd. So that's all I really knew of him. And then probably a year or 2 after that, I started getting into drugs. I was still going home, still going to school. I graduated and everything like that, but it was just getting to be around the worst and worst people on the worst and worst side of life. When I ended up getting old enough, me and my friends got in some big trouble. I went to prison for the first time when I was 19. And after that, it just seemed like I couldn't get back on track. I'd get out of prison and I'd get a job and I'd do well for 2 or 3 months. But once I got a little bit of money together and a little bit of things, you know, assets to my name, I would just end up getting called back to the drugs, and it was just dissolve right through my fingers. I've been struggling real hard. I've been to O for prisoners. I've been back to prison 2 more times. And it just seems like I can't catch a break. I know I gotta help myself, but it's hard. I got a monkey on my back. Yeah,
we're gonna come back to all this. First off, do you give us permission to use this video on our YouTube channel?
Yes, 100%.
All right. So, you graduated high school?
Yes, sir.
All right. What kind of student were you?
I was a very good student. School was very easy for me. It all came naturally. It got a little boring towards the end, so I found myself doing more and more things outside of school to stay occupied. And that's what led to the crime and the drugs and things like that.
Which high school did you go to?
I went to Durango High School.
Durango? Any famous people come from Durango?
I know of a couple people. I know one of the Killers went there.
Oh yeah?
Out of the band.
Yeah?
And I think
they're from Vegas, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the guys from, it was a smaller band, but Escape the Fate.
Okay.
He went there. He was their lead singer for a while.
All right, so Vegas, high school was good?
Yeah.
Were you a popular kid?
No, but I had a good group of friends, friends that, since I never moved, I'd lived in the same house since I was came home from the hospital to 19. Yeah. My group of friends didn't change. Yeah. So I maybe had, a dozen people that I had known since they were kids. Yeah. And we were real tight. I wasn't popular, everybody didn't know my name, but I had real good friends behind me, and it's sad to this day. It's I could see them on Facebook and I could see all the things they're accomplishing, and I could still talk to them here and there, but we're just going 2 different paths in life right now.
Okay, did you think about college or military, anything like that?
I wish I would have joined the military. I was this close to enlisting right when I graduated, and I had a heart surgery when I was about 16 to close off a node in my heart that made it beat too fast. Yeah. And it was all taken care of. It was not a problem. I just never went back to my cardiologist to get the sign off to go do general training. Oh. And then between then and then, I caught that case and went to prison. So once you're a felon, you can't get into the military.
What did you dream of becoming when you were a kid?
I really wanted to be an architect.
Architect?
Yeah, until I found out how much art there was to it. Yeah. I'm not a very good artist. Yeah. And I didn't realize that the mathematics was only the first part of architecture. Then you had to draw the building out and spec it. Yeah. And I couldn't wrap my hand around that.
Were you good at math?
Oh yes, 100%.
All right.
That was where I shined. Oh man. I was always 2 classes ahead.
When you were in high school, did you have a teacher that you looked up to or you talked to a lot?
It was more middle school.
Yeah.
I had one high school teacher that was a math teacher, and he actually would set the class right because I would sleep during his class.
Yeah.
But then once somebody called me out on it to him, he was like, yeah, but look at this. And he wrote out a more complicated problem than what we were working on.
Yeah.
And I didn't look down at my paper. I didn't write nothing down. I just looked at the board and I gave him the answer. And he's like, that's why he gets to sleep through class.
Oh, that's
he
cool.
understands all this material.
What was the guy's name? Give him a
Mr.
shout out.
Thompson. He was a very good math teacher. He was the kind that everybody would hang out in his room at lunch.
Oh,
but there was another one, Mr. Prophet. He was ex-military. He had been in World War II or Vietnam. Not World War II, that's too old.
Vietnam probably.
He had gone to Vietnam and he was in a wheelchair. He's the first teacher that I talked to that actually treated me like a person and actually told me, you know, they're gonna tell you this is the right thing to do and this is what you have to do, but you're really gonna have to figure it out for yourself. As long as you treat people the way you want to be treated, and you don't. Some of the things that I do don't live up to that right now. But if you don't take things that aren't yours and you don't, you know, try and get over on other people, then you can have a really successful life and feel good about it. And that really spoke to me.
That's cool. You're only 28. You have a lot of time.
I always feel like I've let it all pass me by, and I get this defeatist mentality. It's wrong.
When did you feel like you lost yourself in addiction? About what age?
Probably about 21, 22.
22, okay.
Because I had gone to rehab for another case that I was fighting, my second case.
Yeah.
And they let me out on probation, and I went through rehab and I was doing really good, but it just felt like as I got further and further into it, it just felt like I wasn't being myself.
Yeah.
And I ended up going back to doing what I know how to do. I think it's just a lack of coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
I just get frustrated in myself, and I feel that you know, I feel that the easy way out is just better. I just want that instant relief, but it brings no lasting, you know.
How long have you been sober?
worthwhile.
What's the longest period of time you've been sober?
This last rip, because they sent me down for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So I was sober for a couple months before I went in when I was in jail.
Yeah.
I was sober for 2.5 years while I was there, and then when I got out, it was at the beginning of this year I got out. I was working for a construction firm. I was learning all sorts of new things. I got my forklift cert, OSHA cert.
Oh,
I still have all
congratulations.
those. I had my own truck.
Yeah.
And my family was dependent on me to do things that they had never depended on me to do before, be an adult.
Yeah.
And it was good having all that responsibility. And I just, one thing fell in front of another, and instead of coping with it or talking to anybody about how hurt I was, about a relationship that didn't work out, I just went back to using because it's easy. It's my basic mode of transportation.
Can we talk about your family now? You're still in contact with your family?
No, I actually, it really pains me to say that I haven't talked to anyone in my family for about 3.5 months.
Oh, okay. What's the reason for that?
Shame.
Oh, okay.
Mostly.
Yeah. Now, are you on the streets here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now you got a group of friends here?
Yes.
That you guys hang out with?
Yeah, I have a few groups of people that I go around that I know, you know, I'm safe when I'm around them.
All right, now you have an interesting way of making money besides panhandling, right?
Yeah.
What else do you do? You said you date women that come into town?
I mean, periodically, like I'll hang out. What I like to do is go around the tourist traps. Because when you're at the tourist traps, there's a lot of money flying around and there's a lot of people having a good time.
Yeah.
So either I could know local things that they need to know, or I could point them in the right direction. They'll usually be generous, or if they're looking to party or something like that, I could find them something, because they don't want to go down to the hood, and they don't want that kind of, it's dangerous and shit like that. So I can go and I can find them what they need, and they can get their money's worth, and I usually get something out of it because they're appreciative and they're flush. But there's ladies that are out there and they don't like seeing me in the position I'm in. They might find me attractive, or they might like the way that I speak, and they'll be extra generous. They'll be like, "Do you want something to eat?" And then instead of like buying me some food, they'll take me out to eat. And then the nicer I am to them, the better they feel more comfortable with me. I end up going back to their rooms, and then if they take off the next day or 3 days later, I could stay in their room, and they'll usually hand me cash, and I don't ask for anything like that. It's just like they know what it is that I'm about to do when I'm not hanging out with them, and they provide for that. It's I feel embarrassed when it happens, but it's still flattering, you know?
Does that happen often?
Periodically. I mean, if I'm down on the strip, I could usually find somebody that catches my eye, catch their eye, and it's hard to strike up a conversation because it's like we're on two different sides of the street.
Yeah.
But once you make that connection, it's like they're looking for somebody to spend time with, and I'm looking for somebody to spend time with. It just works out well.
Okay.
Just because they have assets and I don't, they don't really look past that easily.
You ever met someone interesting that you keep in contact with, or?
No, not really, because I usually don't have like a phone or any way to keep in touch. I've given some people my online information, and I have heard from them, but it's not like people frequent Vegas. It's a fly-by-night thing. I'll come once every couple of years or something.
Yeah. You get guys also trying to hit on you?
I get a lot of guys hitting on me, and it's hard. The older that I get, the worse that it gets, because when I was younger, it'd be like if that were to be happening and they were to be saying or doing things that were inappropriate and I were not to really notice it because they're not being direct, there would be other people that would actually come up, even if they're not my friend, and be like, you need to get your you need to go another way because it's, you know what I mean, you're kind of doing something wrong to this boy. But now that I get older, people expect me to recognize it, and sometimes I don't. And I just don't allow myself to get caught up in situations where I might be alone with that person and them have nefarious designs on me or anything like that.
Did you ever date men or no?
No,
just strictly
it makes
women?
me very uncomfortable when men come at me that way. But there's times where, I mean, like, I can't blame anybody. Like, if you look nice and I like you and that's happened to be what I'm into, I'll let it be known. I don't blame anyone for that. But once I make it clear that I have no intention of doing anything like that with that type of person, if they don't drop it at that point, you know, I feel real disrespected.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah.
When you're growing up, were you abused as a child by anybody?
No.
No abuse in the
That's the
family?
thing about it, is my family took good care of me. I didn't need or want for anything.
Okay.
And I
no
feel
physical abuse?
No. That's what caused me a lot of shame, is that I feel like I took all of my mom's hard work and I'm just squandering it.
You seem like a really genuine guy. If your mom is watching, what do you want to tell her?
Just that I love her and I appreciate everything that she's ever done for me, and I can't, it's hard every day. It gets harder because it used to be okay to get high and I'd be able to enjoy myself, but the older I get, at the back of my mind, I feel like every step that I take is just bringing me further and further and further away from the person she wants me to be, and it's even worse because my dad did the same exact thing to her, would disappear and go get strung out and go to prison and end up dying, and I don't want her to watch me do that. And that's what I'm doing.
You got a lot of time. I feel good about this one. I think you're gonna make it, man. We'll help you out. You ever tried NA?
I have.
On your own?
When I went to when I went to the rehab that the courts ordered when I was on probation that one time, I was sober for 18, 19, 20 months, and the whole time I was going to an AA meeting at least every day or every other day, AA or NA.
NA, they're both great.
Yeah, and there was a lot of good people in there that wanted to see me succeed.
Did you get a sponsor? You worked a program?
Yes, I was up to step 10.
Yeah.
I was doing really good. I had a good support group. And what really happened was my home group fell apart.
Yeah.
The group of people that I had sponsors that were all friends, and my sponsor ended up kind of going separate ways.
Yeah.
And then my sponsor, eventually after that, he got into a lot of trouble. He actually got into a police shootout. He's in the feds right now.
Yeah.
God bless him. He got shot 3 times in the chest. And he's still alive, but I don't know if he's ever going to get out of the feds.
Dylan, if someone's watching and they want to help you, what do you need to get off the streets and live a righteous life again? What is it that you need from people if they want to help you?
I need a track to gainful employment, really.
Okay.
And it's hard from where I'm at because I can keep myself clean and presentable. Like, I could show up to a job and do the things I need to do, but it's hard for me to be consistent. If something comes up and I feel like it's an easy, quick fix, I could very well not continue to be a good worker after that. But when I do show up to work and I do have my head on straight, I move up very quickly at every position that I've ever had. I know how to put my mind to task, and I know how to be a valuable asset to any company. I pick up things very quickly too. I'm kind of jack of all trades in that respect.
You're a smart guy. Like, for example, if someone wanted to bring you some clothes, drop off some clothes or things like that, where can they find you?
The areas that I'm usually in is around Hacienda and Decatur.
Okay.
Or Hacienda and or Arville and Valley View.
Now, you said you don't have, do you have an email?
Yes, I do.
What's your email?
It's XTRYREAM 3
Okay. Now, Dylan, do you think you've hit rock bottom yet?
I really, really don't.
Okay.
And it's sad because there's some things that I've gone through earlier this year. When I first got back out, I was still doing good. I still had my truck. I was still going to work. But I was hanging out with a friend of mine. She's actually the widow of my best friend who passed right before I went to prison this last time. And she had made a shot of heroin, and I don't usually do heroin, and I was just getting off being sober for so long. And she miscalculated, or she gave me the wrong one, the one that was for her or something like that, and I ended up dying. And she had to hit me with Narcan, and she said that I was blue and nothing was happening. She said that it took 12, and it doesn't usually do this, it took 12 minutes for me to wake back up. And that was so surreal. And then I feel just gut-wrenchingly guilty that at that point I didn't just stand up and go home and say that this probably isn't gonna work. And I've gotten further and further down the rabbit hole since then.
I'm sorry about that. Maybe that was your rock bottom. How much do you spend a day on drugs?
Anywhere from $50 to $100.
Okay. Can you, this channel is about prevention through awareness. Can you describe a day where you're running low on cash and you're having the withdrawals? How's the withdrawals feel?
Oh, it's horrible. It's like you have so much drive to get to what it is that you feel that you need to feel better. And your body is just, it's just so drained. You feel like weak as a kitten, but you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. It's hell. It really is hell. It feels like you've been put through a juicer, and now you have to climb this hill and carry this boulder all the way up this hill just to get a moment's relief. It gets to the point where every morning when you wake up, it's not like you're going to get something to enjoy. It's like you're going to find just water to survive, and that's what the drugs are doing for you. It's not enjoyable. After a week or two, I'd say you're not getting anywhere. You're just staying even keel. You're just keeping yourself from
trying to get normal, huh?
From falling apart.
So you would not recommend this?
No, please. If anybody offers you,
speak to the kids right now.
If anybody offers you anything that you've never seen before, and they tell you how great it is, or they tell you what it's going to do, and they say it's fine, it's not. It's all they want is for you to feel like them so that you can continue to make money for their own purposes. That's what they want. They want to put you out there to take the risk, to do the work, so that they can continue to get high and leech off of you. That's all anybody out here. Nobody cares about you, and you're only going to do damage to yourself and most importantly, your family.
That was incredible. Thank you so much for that. Do you think that if your dad was in the picture while you're growing up, you'd be somewhere else in life?
I hate to speculate on it because I really don't like to think about my dad, because I feel like it takes away from everything my mom did. I had every opportunity in the world to be anything that I wanted to be because of the hard work that my mom did, raising all three of us. And if he had been around, it might have been more well-rounded. I might have learned a lot more things about myself as a man that she couldn't teach me. But I don't feel like his intervention would have been the be-all, end-all for me not making bad choices.
I really hope she watches this, man. You love your mom.
I love my mom. She's the only person that has ever been there for me no matter what. Like even my stepdad, who's been there since I was 10, and he's my dad. I call him my dad now. He's taking good care of me. He's taking good care of my mom.
All right.
And he's done right by her, and they have a good life right now. They're doing better and better.
Shout out to your stepdad.
Yeah.
What's the best thing about your life right now, Dylan?
Probably my friends.
Okay.
Probably the ones that I know I can go to if I don't have anything and they don't have anything and they actually want something to do with me, because it's hard out here. If you can't, in the moment, if you can't provide anything for them, either to get high or to go or a place to stay or anything like that, one day they could be your best friend, and then the next day they don't want nothing to do with you. Take off as quickly as they can and take anything that's lying around.
Do you have any friends that are living a sober life by any chance?
No, it's mostly people that I was out here with that I knew before that have gone and got clean. And they don't keep up communications because they have to protect themselves, you know? Because I know it's how easily it is for them to slip. They won't continue to be friendly, but if I do see them or if I do hear from them, they they care about how I am. You know what I mean? They just
Yeah.
can't reach out because they could get sucked into.
Let's do some fun questions. What kind of food do you like?
Apparently I like marsala.
Oh yeah, we got Dylan some Indian food. You like it?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Chicken masala, that's my favorite.
Yeah, the kind of foods I like a lot of Mexican food.
Yeah.
I am a quarter Mexican. I grew up eating enchiladas and empanadas and things like that. But, you know, like everybody else, pizza, crab legs is actually my favorite food. I'm a big seafood fanatic.
Yeah. What's the best concert you've been to?
Oh, actually, the Tool at the Mandalay Bay Event Center was
Tool
the
was here.
sickest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it was one Christmas present. I think I was probably a junior.
Yeah.
So it might have been 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because they had like the drummer came out on like a big platform and then he started to spin in the air while still drumming, and the guitars came out on even higher platforms, and at the end of the cars shot flames with smoke and lights, lasers everywhere. That was awesome.
You know what's funny about Tool? I've been a fan, but kind of low key, because most of my friends growing up were like into hip hop, you know, and
Oh, wow.
hard rock. But there was a song that I still play all the time. I know The Pieces Fit.
Yep.
What song is that? That's Sober or something?
I thought it was 40. Is it 42 and something? Oh, maybe it's Sober. It might be
I don't know that. It's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
But there's another song, 42 and 6. It might be that. I'm not sure.
And what kind of music do you like?
That's the kind of music I like hardcore metal, alt metal, heavy metal.
Yeah, I like metal.
Yeah, I've gone through like phases where I liked Metallica and Black Sabbath and things like that, all the way out to like the Black Keys and the XX. Who's some more popular ones? Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I like all that music, but you know what I really was into when I was a kid? That glam rock. I don't know why.
Oh, the big hair metal?
Yeah.
Oh, I
love that
love
stuff.
that. Poison.
Yeah.
Welcome
all that
to
Warrant,
the jungle.
18 and Life to Go.
I could get into that always.
Me too, I can get into all that. All right, we'll continue. What's your favorite movie?
V for Vendetta. It's actually a really deep movie.
Oh, that's cool, man. How do you feel about the solutions out here for the homeless? You think the government's doing enough?
I think the government is doing what it can. I think there's a lot more, how do you call them, like fringe nonprofits that are really like boots on the ground. Like I hadn't seen up until the last couple of years. There's people that are down in the tunnels, over on the train tracks, out behind buildings where they know there are shanty camps. And they'll come out there and they'll bring you water, they'll bring you bags of food, they'll bring like church type of help, and they'll actually bring it to you. Not say, hey, here's a food bank, it'll be here on this day at this time, come show up and we'll give you boxes of things. They'll really have guys out there with backpacks like, here, do you need water? Do you need, and it's not the best thing in the world, but it is better than the alternative. Do you need clean rigs? Do you need things like, do you need alcohol pads so you can stay clean while you do that so people don't die of infection and things like that? I've seen friends lose hands, lose arms.
That's cool. That's cool. There's all that support out here in Nevada.
Yeah, and if you really wanted to stop everything, there's at least 3 or 4 good programs that you could go to, and then that night they will have you a bed. You just have to stay sober.
Speaking of that, do you have a plan to get clean and maybe get back on your feet, rehab or something? Or
really, my plan right now is to do my best to go. I lost my wallet a few weeks ago, which is really detrimental when you're trying to get any of that sort of help. I need to go down and get a replacement ID, and as soon as that comes, I really just want to go to either a laborers union or a temp agency. Because it's not as consistent. It's not every day. Show up at 8 o'clock. Show up at 8 o'clock. It's a little more. How should I say? Spotty. So that might be easier for me to show up for. Like if there's like 3 days of work here, then I can go and do that and I can get paid for it. And then there's a couple days of work there, I could go do that and get paid for it. And then save up enough to where I could get more situated. I maybe get a room somewhere where I can stay clean cut and I can take care of business. I could get myself healthy and find a normal, regular day-to-day job. And those are the baby steps that I think I need to take to be an upstanding citizen. Because if I don't have my own assets or anything like that, even if I wasn't doing drugs, I'd still be forced to be out here committing crimes to continue to live.
So you do want to get off the drugs?
I do.
Okay.
It's not. it's not a forever thing. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely an expiration date on this lifestyle.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. How'd you feel about this interview?
Yeah, I feel really good. It feels like a session that I haven't had with anybody in a long time, where you're not trying to get anything from me, and I'm not trying to save face with you, and I could just kind of be bare bones and tell you how it is that I feel and what it is that I'm looking at.
Well, you're very well spoken. You're honest. You're genuine. I think you got a bright future, man. Just keep going at it. And is there like, did you want to make a call to your mom? You want to make a call to your mom or anything and tell them how you're doing, or?
Would that be on the interview?
Oh no, I was gonna let you use my phone. I could call for you and say, you're doing well or anything like that. I could do that for you if you want.
I'll think about it.
All right, think about it.
Yeah.
Well, this is therapeutic for me too. Every time I talk to somebody, I get a lot out of it. I learn a lot from.
I can tell by your
Speaking.
attitude towards it. It's not like you're checking boxes.
Nah.
You really want to.
I just
see
have
what's
some questions. I
going
want
on
to make
with
sure I
people.
ask you the right questions.
I understand that you have a goal in mind, and that's why you have a certain criteria that you try to meet. But after that, once you let me in the door, it felt like you talked to me like a human being. Like you don't see my position as me. It doesn't define me. And that's refreshing.
I'm like this close away from being an addict again, so I got to be careful, and I need to talk to people.
And this is your
to
12
keep
steps.
reminding me,
Yes.
One addict talking to another addict. You guys are helping me out. God bless you. Thank you so much, Dylan. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I apologize if I didn't put anything succinctly or anything like that.
you did.
I do my best to.
You did excellent.
To get, I sometimes I can speak too much, but I do my best to give people the real of what it is that I'm looking at.
You spoke like a college grad, dude.
Yeah.
You spoke like a college grad. You did great.
you.
All right, thank you, Dylan.